Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the OA Season 1, Episode 3. It's called Champion. Full spoilers for the episode as always. So this continued Prairie's story, as we expected it to, and we ended last episode with her being lured into the basement and trapped in a cage. When we see the cage now in full, it's a sort of five-part kind of, there's multiple cells and they all sort of meet in the middle, and the stream that's running in the rocks sort of going underneath all of them, and that's their drinking water and whatever. And we get a sense of the other characters a little bit.
Yep.
We got, obviously Homer's the one that we're expecting to see, but there's a couple of others. There's a guy with a beard and there's another woman, and they've all had near-death experiences, and we sort of see how she interacts with him at first, which is to say not very well, or at least they're kind of standoffish with her.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, maybe they just don't want to get attached to someone in case. Obviously, we see there's the other girl that's kind of just died.
Yeah,
and
August.
been taken. Yeah. And the idea is that maybe they just don't want to get attached to it in case that just happens again really quickly.
Maybe, I get the impression though they've just been kind of worn down, and they've been very, just kind of inhumane at this point. The guy with the beard especially is very hostile in a lot of ways where he shouldn't be.
He's a bit of a dick, isn't he?
Yeah, when she makes a sandwich and like it's the first real food they've had because they've been getting these like pellet things that are supposed to feed them, and he complains that she ruined it with mustard.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, like in the simple philosophy of mustard on a sandwich, I'm on his side. I hate mustard.
I mean, you're wrong.
But he's been a dick about it.
He is. And he's wrong anyway, so.
He's accurate. I will say, I did think it was funny though that she ends up having this big plan. We'll get to how she has this plan, but I love that she has this big plan to like dose him with, dose Dr. Hap with the sleeping pills that she's been like finding and crushing as she's been doing the housework, in this stew that she's like, oh, I'll make the stew that my father made, and it turns out he's allergic to tomatoes, and that's what that's what almost kills him.
Do you know what really a little bit bothered me about that?
Yeah.
He's ordered the ingredients. Did he not think to go, this has tomatoes in? Like, if you have an allergy to something as common as tomatoes,
why would you even have it in the house?
Yeah, you'd check it before you bought it. I mean, I know it says, he buys it online, but you'd check, surely. She can't check, she's blind, and she doesn't know for a start.
Well, yeah, but she also wouldn't be able to use his computer, because it's not like unless he bought in like a blind person's...
Well, yeah, because it says that he does it all online. They get the delivery once a month.
Yeah.
So she's requested vegetable stock. That's what the tomato was in. And, that's a pretty common thing. It's not like he's picked a specific brand. He's chosen that one. You'd think if you had an allergy to tomatoes, you'd go, has this got tomato in it?
Yeah, that was a bit weird. That said, though, I like that it's a weird allergy. I've never heard of someone being allergic to tomatoes before.
Me either.
It wasn't the usual peanuts or whatever, it was like, I've never actually heard of that. I'm sure there's someone who is, because everyone's allergic to something. Like, just about anything can be an allergy.
Yeah.
So, I appreciate the weirdness of it, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that he wouldn't know. And why would he even accept that into his house? Because it's not like he's buying stuff just for them. He's other than the pellets, because he's not treating them like,
That's what bothered me about it. It's like, you've ordered this, you would know, you would have gone, has this got tomato in it before you chose this product?
Yeah, which leads, of course, to Prairie finding the dead girl in the tub, and which links back to a scene in the present day that we already had at this point where she was sitting in the tub, and there's been a lot of imagery actually of her in the tub. We've seen it in, I think, every episode so far, either as an adult or a kid.
Yeah,
it
kind of just goes in with this theme of water that we've been having as well.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a mistake that the water's like their one lifeline that's going through all the cages.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And it's like the thing that almost lets them send out a message, but it like also takes it away because, well, she's blind and she can't catch it.
Yeah.
But so we get her initial not being able to deal with being in the cage, and he takes her upstairs, and he realizes that he can kind of almost trust her, because she's blind, so she can't see what he's doing, and she can't, theoretically anyway, obviously we can speculate about the ending later, but if she does somehow run away where's she going to go? She's blind, and it's in a place she's never been before. She doesn't know the area. She doesn't, and
Yeah.
from what it seems like it's in the middle of nowhere. It seems like she's got nowhere obvious to run to.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even if you had sight, I don't think you'd have much hope once you get out there, depending on where he is. And it seems like it's fairly isolated.
Yeah, it does.
So a blind person, just turned up to 11, kind of thing. But they get this hope and they have this idea where they're going to try and like send a letter out, and she's going to sneak it into his mail, and she gets an envelope with an address on it and a stamp, and they get a pen and all that, and Homer writes the message, and they all like sort of contribute a little bit for each of the individual people, and they try to like pass it through to each other, and you kind of have this sinking feeling that it's all futile.
Yeah, because it's like, well, they'd have been back ages ago, surely, or they'd have known about something. Like, there'd have been more of an investigation. Because obviously, when we have the first episode and the detectives done to her, they clearly gave up a long time ago.
Yeah, and also she was gone for 7 years, and it's not been 7 years at this point in the story.
No, definitely not.
It's been
a few months at most.
If that.
Yeah, at most. Because I just don't know how long she ran away for at the start.
She left for her 21st birthday, so she'd maybe let's say she takes a week to get to New York, depending on how she gets there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming buses, so I'm assuming it's a long time.
Are we assuming that very, that first night where she's in the subway playing it and he comes up to her, is that the first night she was there, or was that after she'd been doing it for a while? Like, I'm not entirely sure.
I think it was the first night. I think that was the impression I got.
Okay. I wasn't entirely sure there.
So I feel like it's been a month at most at this point since she went missing. That's what it feels like to me anyway. And so it all fails, and they all get really demoralized, and you feel like they kind of hate her for it, but Homer like kind of sympathizes and kind of opens up a little bit and gets her to do jumping jacks in a sense, as he even points out, and they all end up sharing something they want to do if they weren't held captive.
Yeah, they all a common goal.
Yeah, they all open up a little bit about what they want to do if they get out, what they'd want, how they'd want to spend their time, what that taste of freedom would be, and it's almost like this re-motivator. Like, it gives Prairie the courage to do what she does at the end, where she does just, push him down the stairs and makes her run for it, like smashes the window, which is why I think is actually another thing when he's having the allergic reaction to the tomatoes. And he can tell that she's like thinking, oh, maybe I should just not save him.
Yeah,
and he says,
because she pauses before she runs to get it, and you just see it.
And he says, "You can't let me die. You don't know the code to the door. You'll all starve to death in here." I'm like, but if you like get bars on all the windows, like they can just smash.
But it's to get down to them, because it's the basement door that's got the code on. It's not the door to go out.
The door to go, it's got a code as well.
Oh yeah, but he meant she could get out, she could go out the window, but she couldn't get them. They'll all starve to death.
Was the door not just wood though? Could she not just bash that in as well?
No, it was a metal door.
I know the big bolts metal, but
I'm sure the one at the top is because you see him put the code in a couple of times.
Right, okay.
When he's about to follow her down, I think it's a metal door, and then obviously he puts the code in.
All right, okay.
Which obviously she has no way of seeing.
No, that's fair. But yeah, so it all ends with her, smashing him with or throwing him down the stairs and smashing the window in and making her run for it, which was making me feel very tense because she's a blind woman running through a forest. It's
even the moment where she gets up on the windowsill and she's about to jump out and she's feeling it's like there's nothing there, and then I thought for a second, have we've barely even seen the floor. Like we've seen him open the door, but is this on the first floor? Again, is it on the ground?
This is the smart thing that they've done all through this show. Last episode, when she was first brought to the cell, we said, "Oh, we can't see anything because she can't see it." It wasn't until this episode we really get a proper look at everything. Yeah. And this was the same thing. They've avoided showing us that so that when she's looking down, she can't see if there's anything there. We don't actually know how far that is either. Like, we're not sure.
It really plays it like, we assume it's the ground floor in the same way that she does.
Yeah, because we see like the tops of some bushes or whatever, but that could be to any height, really.
Yeah, exactly.
So, not really, really smartly done. But when she gets to the edge and she stops because she can hear that there's like an opening. She can tell kind of that she's at
an open space rather than like the
shore.
trees.
Yeah. Because it's like, oh man, she could easily just tumble off that thing.
Yeah, and there's that fantastic rendition of "What a Wonderful World" playing.
Yeah.
And it's so like disoriented. Like that is the only sort of word I can use to describe that version of it. And it works so well for her running away, not having a clue where she is.
Yeah, I think despite the couple of minor problems we brought up, I think what I like about this episode is that and what I've liked about all the episodes so far is it's very focused, and this part could have easily been stretched out for multiple episodes. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that she's definitely free now and that she won't go back, because I know for sure there's going to be some experimentations done, and I'm assuming it's Dr. Hap that's going to do that. But
yeah, and there's obviously got to be more with Homer, surely.
because they've not got to the point where they've bonded that much yet. Like, they're not where, she's crying at the mention of his name. Like, we're not that far yet.
We're at no point where she's in the present that we should think that this is all it is.
And again, it's definitely not been 7 years.
That too.
Yeah, maybe 2 months at this point, if she's been like saving up those sleeping pills for.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking maybe it has been a few months, because she does say he gets the delivery once a month.
Aye, true.
And she talks about how weird the passage of time was, because she couldn't tell if it was days or hours or what. So I'm thinking maybe a few months.
A line I really liked at the start of this, I like the start of her monologue as she was like telling the story, and she's talking about when you're a prisoner and the first night you go to sleep, you forget, and you wake up and you feel imprisoned all over again. I actually really liked that. That was a nice little touch.
It was good.
It made a lot of sense to me as well. I've ever been imprisoned, but it sounds fairly accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like that. I like that it feels like each part I feel is told a very specific story. And it feels like, even though they're expecting people to binge watch this, each episode's had a very strong focus, a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is the episode of the early days of Captivity. This is the episode where they're trying to escape. So, assuming that he does like catch up to her and that she does get captured again, I don't feel like the next episode will be about them trying to escape. I feel like we've done that now. And
no, there'll be some resignation, because he'll double his efforts on keeping them there. Like, he'll double the security or whatever. And I think instead we'll have an episode focusing on her bonding with Homer more, or maybe the rest of the group to a lesser extent.
Yeah, but I feel like this whole we need to work together to get out will go away because they've tried it and failed, or maybe they'll even realise, oh crap, we're on an island. We can't actually go anywhere, even if we do get out of this room.
Because obviously, one of the lines that I really liked was when they were writing the letter and they're given descriptors as to where they are, and she goes, we're 4 or 5 hours away by plane. And the date guy kind of goes, wait, you got in a plane with him? It's just like, yeah, you got in a car with him. Shut up.
Yeah, that was good. But even that I liked, though, because it was like, they didn't really know what they were, but they were trying to like piece it together. And I think she says, we had to stop twice to refuel. So, kind of things like that. So it was like an idea of like, how far can the plane go? It's like, this is the stuff that we heard on the way here. This is the stuff that we see on the way here,
It presents that they're all very smart, intelligent people because they're putting important details. Sure, they don't know anything firm, but they're like, yeah, what do we know? Let's just put anything that might help in.
Do you know what I like as well? I like that these are all people who've had near-death experiences, and they all have a heart-to-heart by the end of this episode, but the heart-to-heart is not about their near-death experiences.
Yeah.
For the most part. The girl's kind of was, because it was about her brother, and I assume that was the same accident, because she talks about leaving and coming back.
Yeah.
But she was really telling that story for her brother, because she mentions her brother's in a wheelchair. That was mentioned before then.
Yes.
But they didn't all do that. Homer didn't talk about what his near-death experience was. The dickhead didn't talk about his near-death experience. Prairie never brought up hers.
Yeah.
And it'd have been very easy for them to sit down and compare all those notes and have that kind of thing.
I think the point is, it almost doesn't matter what the experience was. The point is they all died and came back, and that's it. It doesn't matter how.
I can see it coming up still, but I can see it being spread out. Like, it'll come up when it's relevant to come up.
Yeah.
Maybe how they died affects like how they react to the testing that's going to happen. Like,
could be, yeah.
And
they all clearly have talks about how they've come back with talents.
Yeah, because obviously Prairie is a violinist. The other girl can sing.
Yeah.
Really well. So no, I don't think we've quite discovered what the other two talents are.
No, for Homer, I'm wondering if it is just his ability to like, the way he talks to people and can be very convincing and charismatic. Like when he's coaxing her to do the jumping jacks and stuff. So I wonder if it's something to do with that.
Yeah, some kind of like empath sort of
Yeah. The other
talent.
guy, I'm not sure at all.
Piss everyone off in the room.
Hey, someone's got to have it.
I feel like I got that without dying and coming back to life, but whatever.
I agree. You definitely did.
Yeah, present day wise though, there wasn't as much, and I feel like this is going to be a similar trend for a while here, where we're going to have like 2/3 or so of the episode will be the story, and the present day stuff will be fairly smaller by comparison.
Yeah.
But we learned some more details about a couple of characters. Betty's brother recently died, and she's avoiding the messages about his will. She's avoiding those calls, but she's listening to recordings of him, his
Yeah.
answering machine, his voicemail message, over and over. Uh, Also, a fun moment when she comes in and she sees the drawing that someone's done of her on the whiteboard of her in like lingerie or whatever, looking, like a basically like a Betty Boop type thing from like years
Yeah.
ago. And she draws like a cube around it because this is the middle of the episode after she's heard part of the story, and she's like drawing a cube around it. I kind of like the weird thing that this is doing to her dynamic with Steve though, because like
Yeah.
Steve pops in and he's like, "Oh, you better hurry and get to your thing," and I stuck my neck out for you. But there's this weird kind of mutual friendship there now, which I assume before was completely not there because she was trying to get him expelled and all the rest
Yeah,
of it.
but now they have a shared experience. It's
Yeah.
kind of similar to how in the flashbacks the prisoners have like a shared experience now, where even Homer says, "Yeah, sure, it failed, but we did something together." And it's kind of the same thing
Yeah,
that this group is going through, where
it's a very good
they
observation.
don't really know what's happening, but it's clearly pulling them together.
I wonder if that's got something to do with the number, like why there had to be five of them, which is one more than that was in the cubes. But
Well, yeah, that's what I was just thinking. It doesn't quite line up.
if you're including Hap,
Unless there's someone else still to come in.
possible, or the girl who died already comes back,
All
kind of
that.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, who knows?
I'm wondering if the number relates to how many people were trapped or something in the long run. But that's assuming that another one, or maybe Hap's included because he's part of the experience, kind of thing.
Also, isn't there 5 plus Prairie?
There is, but I don't know if she counts again. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because she's already enlightened or whatever it is.
Yeah, she's telling the story, but like her in the back story counts as one, but her in the present day wouldn't.
Yeah.
Again, I'm theorizing. I don't know, but I'm just wondering if that relates to the number. But the number could be a different thing. It could be something
Yeah,
we'll
it
learn
could be
about
something
later.
we don't know yet. It could be almost unimportant.
Nah, it was very specific. She was adamant there had to be five because they were almost not going to do it until the teacher showed up.
Ah, that's true.
So the five's important. It's very specifically important.
Yeah. Just don't know why.
But yeah, the scene of Steve going to his alternate learning thing was amusing to me, and I think the purpose of it was he's a character who often lashes out, and we even see that earlier in the episode because he gets in a fight with French, and they have like this stupid tussle on the floor, and it's right after the moment where he kind of awkwardly touches Prairie in a moment of I guess affection kind of thing. They're in the tub and they're having kind of a heart to heart, and he goes to touch her hair, and we know from the first episode she doesn't like touching. And when French brings it up, he gets really defensive about it, as if he's done something wrong. And he even says something really stupid. He says, "What? I'm no paedophile." And French correctly points out, "What are you talking about? That's kids, you moron."
Yeah.
Uh, but the idea that he always lashes out and he does silly things in the moment of anger, and he goes to this alternative learning thing, and he's like, and I'm sure we've all done this in school, not for alternative learning, but where they'll have like a computing class, or they'll have like a 1 day thing, like you have to tick the box to say you've done this learning about this particular thing. So they'll have a computer program where they sit you there and you just go through it, and it just gives you like a series of slides. We've all done that, unless you were born before a certain decade. You've probably done this in school.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there doing this, and the girl next to him essentially does what he normally does. Not the actual action, but the lashing out, the getting angry and having an outburst. She notices this kid across from her, who she perceives to be staring at her chest, and she
I'm
starts.
not sure if he was or not. That's the thing. I wasn't noticing it.
I didn't notice. I'm going to assume he was because
Well, see, I think it works either way because maybe he was, and
Yeah.
like it wouldn't be surprising given the situation they're in. But then there's also the idea that maybe she just perceives it and lashes out in the same way that Steve kind of just lashed out earlier when he didn't do anything wrong. Like nothing wrong had happened.
Yeah, I almost like it more if he was, because the point then is still that it's still an overreaction. Like, it's not a big deal, especially you're in high school. You know, people have
Yeah.
hormones. Like, he's not harassing you. He's, you caught him, staring a little bit. It's not weird. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But she lashes out and she grabs Steve's water and pours it over and says all sorts of things. She's, accuses the teacher of not getting his dick up or whatever. She's walking out of the room. She's, lashing out, and it makes sense because this is where all the delinquents are going for their
Yeah.
alternative lessons. So it makes sense. There's other people like Steve there, but Steve's reaction to, like, "Whoa, that's my water!" Like, what the hell? It's like he's shocked by how, like,
He's the straight one
Yeah.
in this situation.
how much of a scene she's causing, and he's like, "Whoa, this is like." And I don't know if he's necessarily pondering quite yet. Is that what I'm like? Is that what I look like when I do
But you
it?
can feel that where it's going.
Yeah, but you get that that's kind of the point of the scene. I
Yeah.
think it was well done in that sense. But that's pretty much it for the present day stuff, unless I'm forgetting something.
No, I think that is it. It's very brief. There's only like these snippets of moments throughout.
Yeah. In the middle, and then we go back to the backstory, which we did all as one chunk. So
Yeah.
the break was in the middle somewhere, and but no, that's episode 3 of the OA. Still very good.
It is. I'm just kind of waiting for it to go wrong at this point.
Like you say, we had a couple of I guess plot holes to
Yeah,
clear up
but
there,
then
but-
like the actual direction and the tension was so good that I kind of forgive it, even though they
Oh, yeah.
were annoying.
Yeah, no, I think all that stuff worked really. And we keep talking about how the directing's mimicking her blindness in a really good way, and I think that's something they've been really keeping up, and that is adding to the tension.
What I'm really looking forward to is the moment where she regains her sight, and then the cameras all kind of open up and we see like everything almost. It'll be like this big revelatory moment for us as well, where we see things.
Yeah. No, I think that'll be good. Although I have to admit, I'm probably more interested in the why she gets her eyesight back.
Well, yeah, there's that too. I just mean
Yeah.
from a technical standpoint.
Yeah. No, I get you. No, I'm looking forward to that too. But no, this is still very, very good, and I think, like I say, each episode's done a very good job of feeling different, focusing on something different. Even though we're in this very, not procedural, but like we're in this storytelling rhythm now of her telling the story to them. It could feel like, oh, we're just going back again, but it feels like each time there's new information, there's like a completely new focus.
Yeah.
And while I still think there will be a captive period for quite a while, I do think that this was the story of the early days of, oh, let's try and break out, let's try and pull a Shawshank and like
Yeah, and
get
like
out.
just her meeting everyone and establishing the relationships, which is important.
Whereas I think we'll get to the meteor stuff soon in terms of the experiments and
Yeah.
why does she want to be called the OA? Why does she get her eyesight back? Why does all this happen? Not that I'm expecting that will happen next episode. I'm saying we'll start
Over
tackling
the next
part of
3 or
it.
4. Yeah.
So, no, that's the OA, episode 3. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot if you do. We will have episode 4 up later tonight, so not to worry, we are picking up the pace a little bit. And so thanks very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.